slow. Good morning on the Sabbath. On the Sabbath. I don't know if I'm going to keep that dialogue going on the bottom of the closed captioning. It's a little bit of a test for another project I'm working on. So, hello everyone. I tried to get this started fast today, and I ran out of time. Make sure I'm not having too many different audio signals bleeding in. Okay. It's just a tough day. I want to give peace and thanks to Yahweh and honor him on this day. You don't do anything special. I mean, meal with the family, gathering of friends, sharing of song, inspirational stories where God has touched your heart, moved you in some way, changed you, brought you to repentance. I'm not quite sure I don't know what to make of this anymore. Oftentimes, the thoughts come to me where I want to talk to Anne and talk to Vance and relate, bring you home. And in those moments, I can record on my phone, I get those thoughts out, but when I set something up, sometimes it tends to be a little bit of a problem for me. You know, sometimes. Let's see if we can keep this thing fixed for a little bit. I don't know what to say to anybody anymore because I don't know what's being said. I don't see a lot of biblical ideology and straight up Jesus doctrine being practiced. I don't see. I see lying. I'll address Ed Murphy directly. Again, I'm sorry that you and I never got the chance to kind of learn some things, like how I suffer, how long I suffered. I don't talk about it because it's not something I really thought was a thing. But when you get right down to the nitty gritty of it, the stuff that happens to you when you're dealing with the possibilities of, let's say, a mental deficiency of sorts, or a mental difference of sorts. For instance, attention deficit disorder. I spoke on it before about how I was technically part of a group of the emergent cases where there was no clinical case studies, there was no diagnosis, there was no nomenclature, there were no words for any of that. It's just knowledge you have going back and looking back. You find out that large amounts of teachers and school officials became concerned about what was happening to the kids because there was a notable shift. Right around the time of the food pyramid. If you catch my drift. Well, I don't know what to make of it, but I know that there's stories about all my life not being able to pay attention, being always distracted, being prone to, dreaming, daydreaming, getting lost in it, like I spoke on. It happens all the time, every day. Even today with a couple of things I wanted to try, instead of a green screen behind me, I was going to try a black screen and do something different. That I sat there in a lulled out dream state, not doing anything, but thinking I was doing it, thinking about it vividly. I never had any luck with being organized. I always had organized messes. There was this one time where I had this giant box of cables and gadgets and their adapters and whatnot, and I knew where everything was in the box of the mess that it was. And my wife lovingly decided to help me out and go through things, and she took all of the AC adapters, all the plugs, and she just put them in one bag. And I had no idea where any of them went to. So basically, because I was not smart enough back then, knowing voltage, amperage, and all that stuff, and I could have easily just done whatever I wanted. Those things fell by the wayside. Those gadgets were technically lost. So, things that would happen to me would be like I'd lose materials all the time, misplace things, or fail to finish the projects. Sometimes I would seem to be, disinterested, bored, but not really like that. And I can get hyperactive with it too. I can get it's like got an OCD trigger. So it's called now officially attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, predominantly inattentive presentation. Yikes. And these, finalized terms haven't been available until the 90s. In the DSM-5, same criteria I use, same source material I use for other things. It currently recognizes 3 subtypes of attention deficit disorder. Inattentive type, sometimes casually called ADD, a hyperactive impulsive type, and a combined type. The inattentive type, it doesn't manifest in the same way as predominantly as the hyperactive type. Impulsive or combined types do. And people with those different types, they have those different manifestations. Somebody that might have the hyperactivity issues, straight up, might be incapable of actually being in the classroom without massive management skills. My son Vance might have some of this going on inside of him. And it's it causes kids to act out. because they want and need more, and they don't have more. Children and people with the inattentive type, not the hyperactive type, they're not really disruptive. And, that's where I tend to be at. I can be in these places to a point. I can't stand being in the city. I can't stand the hustle and bustle here. I really can't. I like it quiet. I'm a country mouse. Always have been. Not a city mouse. Sorry, my eyes are very dry. I'm very tired too. Not a lot of sleep this weekend. Well, so some of my issues are difficulty sustaining attention. I doubt it, but I might seem to not be listening if I'm caught on something else. But I tend to, in my activities to stay focused, I tend to work very hard on that with certain rules I follow. Like I tend to use eye contact and stay focused on the people talking instead of, letting things distract me around a room. I don't have a problem ignoring details, but I can, because I'm so attentive to some, I can miss others. And that's how that issue comes when I lose track of things. I misplace things and some forgetfulness. And, that's the gist of it for me. I don't have trouble following instructions. I have trouble following paths. So I have to have little systems set aside for myself to make it happen. Like I talked about my medications before, I have to make sure I'm taking them and then putting them over there in the space that says I've taken them. And even then, sometimes, if I just get a little distracted, I'm like, gosh, did I actually even put the pill in my mouth? Did I just move it over there and forget to put it in my mouth? My wife talks about these things in a different way. And she needs to repent of these things. The systems I put in place were always so I could try to keep it together. I'm gonna take this closed captioning off because it's not very good. It's going to show up on other screens. It's primarily for a gaming setup. Simple dialogues and simple situations where I'm putting it on screen. So I'm testing the scripts and the stuff. I always had trouble like this. I'm filled with unfinished tasks in my life and in this house. Unfulfilled ideas and things. I was very specific with a lot of this stuff when it was being explained to my wife. And her background being that she started her career as an occupational therapist working with the elderly, I believe. Her goals, her role is to kind of find out what is blocking here, if anything, from you doing something here. There's a lot of mental issues, that early intervention issues that children to deal with, and their lives are affected by them. And it's helpful to have a working knowledge of these things and the ability to help learn from people that spend time in it. I mean, programs for parents would be great, are great. But my wife, she seems to be talented, gifted in her field, educated, knowledgeable. And so, with love and respect, honor, I thought I was safe. I believed that I was safe, that I'd be able to work out these issues and come to terms with things. And I wonder if I'm actually streaming. YouTube is showing that I'm got like a weird screen here with nothing on it. I wouldn't even be able to assume if this was working. Very odd. View my channel. Says I'm live. What does this picture say? When I hit it, am I on screen? Sorry, gang. My system is so bogged down, it seems I don't even know if I'm streaming anything. Here we are. Yeah. So it's working. It says 8:44 on the time. Yeah, so, okay, good. It's choppy. What's going on? Is it just my presentation, or is this how it's going out to the people? Oh, man. I'm going to check the Rumble page. See what's going on here. It looks bad. Okay. Am I choppy on YouTube now too? I gotta stop the stream, folks. This is technical difficulty land. I can't even verify what's going on. So what's this thing doing? It seems like it's giving me nothing but trouble. I'm choppy on the outputs. I can't tell. I don't have a production assistant. But, you know, here I am, trying again. Yeah, this is bad on the television. It's not too bad, but I am kind of still invisible. Which I don't like. I'm super invisible. And I wonder if this even works. I'm testing the YouTube chat. Because I couldn't get the scripts to work. There it is. Chat on the screen. Made a noise in my head, too. Well, at least it works. So if anybody was here with me, they'd be able to just chat. And there it comes again. Why isn't that the whole chat? Let me see something big. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. Does that fill up the whole thing? Bling bling. I see myself talking. Words. What a retard. So that works. Now, if I could just get the closed captioning to be fun. See? Fun. All right, I'm going to get off cam for a second here and fix something with one of my lights. Ah, zap. The fade is horrible. The fade. I'm gonna watch that happen on the screen. Right? See a pow. Gonna bring me back like nobody's business. I watched it. Sorry. Amma, I don't know what to tell you, kiddo. You came into my life. When, I mean, how could I have viewed it any other way other than Yahweh giving me the perfect wife? I mean, this is the real deal. I was like, how could I see it any other way? I mean, last time she was here and she sat near me, I had said to her, you really don't understand that when things were good between us, they were perfect. And she blurted out, "Oh, that's a lot of pressure to put on me." I'm like, "What are you even talking about? We were perfect." Talking, well, we weren't making a lot of mistakes. We were really new in the relationship. It didn't seem like it was possible to make that many. But, things do happen. I'm adjusting my camera a little bit. We did progress through what seemed to be normal adult problems, or normal fleshy things. But we really only became concerned when some of the wonderful started to change. Some of the good stuff started to change and slip. Because it was then that when we went to try to bring it to her attention is when that all fell apart. Because she would approach talking to us about the subject as if she was being accused. Like if she inadvertently made a mistake and brought the wrong thing home from Costco, she wasn't paying attention. If I wanted to talk and say, "Well, what happened? Right? What?" She would always just do the, "Well, are you perfect? You've never made a mistake like that?" And yeah, I do make mistakes like that. I have something going on in my head that makes it so mistakes like that are very easy to make. Very easy to make. So, of course, as your husband, I would want to know why didn't you take a look at the package or take a look at the thing? Why didn't you have a system in place to help you do the right thing or help you avoid the issue? It could have been done. I have to do it a lot because I make these types of mistakes all the time. All the time. I'm going to put some socks on, shoes on. I'm wearing my shower shoes still. I'll show them to you. They're pretty neat. You can't see them. These are like Crocs, but they're Merrells. I only wear them in the shower. I don't take them outside. It's a good shoe. That, My neuropathy is making it so my feet, I can't stand on my feet without all this extra cushion around them. So, here my knee's in the way. Sorry, gang. Yeah, you guys know I'm not in a chair. I'm not in an office. I'm not in a studio. I'm on a mattress on a floor with a green screen sheet on a wall and green pillows. And I'm sick all the time now. All the time. I really don't get relief from any of this. One of the hardest parts of dealing with my wife not being here is the recovery process from my spinal injury. I was fasting and praying at the time. I was, and doing intermittent fasting and trying to change my life a bit, lose some weight. And I lost my train of thought right then and there because I'm looking for a sock, which I just found. Oh yeah, see, there it is. Don't even know what I was talking about. And it slips. It just slips away. That's why I needed her. That's why I counted on her. That's why I couldn't keep a job. I had 4 or 5 instances of this yesterday. And a couple of them already today where I'm doing something and just out of the blue, I forget it completely. And it hurts me. It hurts me a lot. Makes me scared for my future. Makes me really not understand it. I mean, I work all these systems. I do different types of therapy all the time. My wife just doesn't know me. I'm always trying to work out things. And that's what she complained about. She says, you have to have things a certain way all the time. I'm like, yeah, kinda. And you're supposed to know that. You're supposed to care for that. It's supposed to be a thing we're doing, right? To help combat this. I'm going to put my feet on. My 5 fingers. Keeps it so I can feel my feet, use my toes, use my feet. So not these dead things, which is what they are. They're numb and tingly all the time, all the way up to the knees. Oh, man. The heat is cranking in here. And there's no happy medium yet. It's either freezing or it's too hot. I think I have to open a window and let some air in here. Wish it wasn't so see-through, though. I don't really know what's going on with that. Rambling stream of consciousness. I try to get it out on the phone, and I make videos on the phone, but they were looking ridiculous on YouTube, pushing people away. I knew I could have a calmer approach and put together a little package of something. I was never trying to hurt my wife. Never. And did you think that all these things that were happening to me were things I was just doing to you? Did I have a motivation or a goal to be a tyrant, be in charge? I mean, where are you coming up with the thoughts that you have about me? Where are you coming up with them? Seriously. I don't understand it at all. your thought processes in this. How you can so easily just label me and say, well, seems like he's acting this way, so he must be this way. And when I tell you that's not what's happening, you're not relieved. Your own friend, Dorinda, when I asked her on a phone call, I said, what do you think of this? It's like, Anne may suspect something of me. She may say something about it. It may or may not be true. It's not true. There's no evidence. Or if I can just tell her, I think you're misconstruing something, or you're projecting, or because if I'm really not doing what she says I'm doing, she should be happy. When you're thinking about the issuance of a complaint, you're complaining that something isn't right, and you don't want it to be a certain way. So you go with your grievance to the party, and you say, hey, this isn't right. And if they talk with you about it, and the Bible is pretty clear, right? Everybody's restored. I just could never reach her, and I never knew why. Sorry, I'm getting very uncomfortable and kind of sick. I might have to cut this shorter, and come back. I just have a hard time reaching you, sweetheart. Everything I say now triggers you. You're attached to something else. You're beholden to something else. You're not with me. You're not with us. You're not trying to be. And it makes it difficult for your sons to know what to make of life. You're hurting us. You are. Nobody really understands what you're doing here with this thing. Where you've taken off and you're just weeks away from a year being gone. Just weeks. I don't want to cry. I don't want to cry. But this is like a tragedy. It's like you've died. It's like I've died. It's like we've all died. This house is filled with things that are unfinished, things that we wanted to do, things that were there. My son Vance was born 6 days after we moved into this apartment. We moved in August 1st, 2004. We've been in this apartment for 21 years. And my children are a bit underdeveloped, like most kids are today. Kids today don't mature as fast as they used to. Sometimes they're not there until they're in their mid and late 20s. I should lead every single stream with the wages of sin is death. That should be my catchphrase. The timeline is so clear to me now, what happened and how it went all south. I'll say it straight up. There is something a little wrong with my wife. But it doesn't come off as something wrong. It's not uncommon for groups' cultures to shy away from public displays of affection. It's not uncommon for social structures to be created in communities, countries, nations, ideologies. When you consider the Protestant Reformation, that was one man, basically. And look how it's spread. An idea. Well, when things aren't handled correctly by one group, the next group under them that should be taught often doesn't know. You know, they often don't know. Let's just keep absorbing my keyboards. Got buttons to try, but they don't really work. Not the way I want them to. My heart is hurting now. Inside I'm like, I got a little vibration going on. My blood sugar's an issue. My cancer is an issue. I'm in pain a lot. I don't have meds for this. I could talk all day about the things my wife doesn't do and the things my wife does do and all the problems. Doesn't do any good. No one listens. No one's here. No one comes to aid me. I was told by someone that I was a coward because in a phone group, I asked a friend to push a message through on my son's phone. Asking for prayer. Oftentimes in the body of Christ, the words don't have to be spoken out loud because Yah would know my heart, Christ would know. So I wouldn't necessarily have to pray for specific things or ask for specific things or say specific things, but I did this time. I didn't know. But what kind of children are we dealing with? Tender age children? And in this day and age, I mean, I'm sorry, but I didn't know. I just didn't know. But it doesn't excuse the fact that these adult Christians that met me briefly and only know me like this, they don't see me upset. They've never seen me angry at anything. They've seen me protest something and leave, you know, because you modern Christians don't know what you're talking about when it comes to the law and being under the law. You don't know what the text says. And you all outsource your sense making to third parties instead of giving it to the Holy Spirit and reading what the text says yourself. But aside from that, I don't really know what keeps people from coming to my home and helping. She has left me. She's gone. I'm not sure she's going to come back to me. She did scapegoat a lot of what was happening and change it. She spent a lot of time changing things I said into things I never said. Words I've never said to her. So she's got this idea of me in her head that I'm just not that guy. And she'll tit for tat that. She'll be like, well, that's what I'm trying to show you, that I'm not the person you think I am either. But you're not being honest with your shortcomings. You're not being honest in the moments where we need to address grievance in either direction. You're not using logic and reason. And you're forgetting who I am. Somehow you're justifying your behavior towards me by just labeling me as a thing that you can be mad at. See, he's doing it again. And now I can't reach you at all because I can't tell you you're wrong. Because what you say is, oh, so you didn't do this and you didn't do that? And we have to go through the whole list of things that you don't remember correctly again, that were already corrected before. It's hundreds and hundreds of things over and over again. Thousands. It was getting out of hand, and your memory was just out of hand. You don't remember the batch count event properly. You change the stories. You still insist someone that knows they were in the room with me, you still insist they weren't there at all. And I tried to tell you about a moment when my son mixed a few events up himself and put them together in one event in a defensive strategy to combat what he thought was happening to him at the time. And it really wasn't. He just thought it was. Oh, look at that. It just throws me lower. It throws me lower. Isn't that neat? Yeah, I am difficult. It's because I have this quick thinking mind and I see things and process them quickly, and then I trip over the next thing very quickly. Concentration and focus are very difficult for me. Like beyond anything I've ever experienced. And she was so important. I could never tell her. I could never tell her. I would tell her how beautiful she was. She would make this weird face. I would tell her how smart she was. I'd tell her how wonderful she was. She would self-deprecate in a way and push the compliments away. It was a lot like when they talk about Dunning-Kruger syndrome. People that are ignorant, they overestimate their abilities, and people that are smart, they underestimate their abilities. I don't know how my wife was both. When she was brilliant and everything I ever needed, she would underestimate herself. But then when she was making mistakes, she was always so confident that she was right. Could never be wrong. So what of repentance, folks? Let's just say whatever she says about me, I'm guilty of it all. Well, how can I repent of it if she doesn't say it? She doesn't say it to me. It's been months and months and months, and she won't tell me why she won't come home. She won't tell me what she needs. She won't tell me what she wants. She says she will come home. And she says she will come home, but... And then she said eventually. Well, what event needs to happen? I'll ask that again. I don't know what I'm dealing with here. I miss my son. I really do. So, Vance, if you're listening, I still have this whole page here for you. Oh, it's going to zap me over to it quick, bap. And it has me in the wrong spot. Of course, right? And now I'm in place. Ridiculous. There's my boy. I love these kids. This business. Vance, if you're listening, there was a real problem with you showing up in the rooms, saying in every conversation, I know. But then in those actual social moments, those interactive moments where you needed to act on that knowledge, it wasn't there. So that professed knowledge you said you had, you didn't have. Knowing something, it's not wisdom. Knowledge is not wisdom. Knowing how that knowledge applies to you and everyone around you in the moment it presents, and you're required to use it. That's different. Knowing a thing doesn't mean anything. What are you going to do with the thing? So you didn't have a lot of practical applicational knowledge in the realms we were talking about. But you were smart, and you were really quick and able to figure things out. A lot of wonderful, admirable qualities just built right into you. That one last phone call, I still have it. It's horrible. It's horrible. Where you basically said you gave up your whole life for me. That you had to give it up for me. I screamed at you. What are you talking about? All you had to do is just schedule your days and go. We would have made something happen. You ran away from home, though. You're just a runaway. And I'm going to put this on the table. I'm going to say this straight up to everybody. I don't care. I had your phone. I had your phone here. Someone took it and brought it to you. On that phone call that you had with me last, you told me you were going to put your mom, I asked you, are you putting us on a list? Are you telling us, are you preventing it? You told me you were going to put her on a list. You told me and your brother not to bother to come up, that you'd be fine. Don't bother, right? But then you called your mother and said, Mom, I need a bag, and I need clothes, and I need a phone. I need a new toothbrush. I need all these things to run away from home with. Will you give me a break on that? For real. For real with that? What am I supposed to do with that stuff? Where's my fade? This is bad. My fade is gone. Fate. I said fade. I'm going to just remove that again. I think it's off on both of them. Yeah, good. Well, I'm going to paste some things around the pages here. And BADD, as usual. Yeah, the YouTube chat box. It finally works. So I'll run through some of these screens with you while I throw the chat box on top of all these pages. And we go back to here. I don't know what's the deal with the non-fades. That's really odd. Really, really odd. See, there's your fade. That's nice. I think it's the assets loading and unloading, not accommodating the fade. It's weird. It's weird. Well, sorry to subject y'all to that. I know it's not fun all the time. And ADD, I'm an ADD monster. Sorry. I need some calories. It's probably going to hurt me a little bit. Ed, I'm just going to ask, why did you lie to me? Seriously. I went out and did 10 minutes of research. I used a web page and I used ChatGPT. And I simply said, I can even do it now. We can have a little bit of fun here. I imagine. I'll give it a shot. because it's over here. And I can add something. Let's call up the Chill Lounge rain page. Pop. Same pop. That's horrible. All right. And so is the choppiness. My goodness. So let me make some changes here. Let's take the lamp off, the group off, because we're going to put ChatGPT right on the screen with us. Oh, stop double-clicking things. There we go. Now, I'll just have to flip myself around so it doesn't look like I'm staring in the wrong direction. Yeah, that's good, Brian. I'm really staring in the wrong direction now. Ha! Oh, it flipped me, but I'm still facing the same way. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I'm completely delighted. Dumbest thing I've ever seen. All flipped me, and I'm still looking the other direction. How? All right, let's go for this. Oh, you're kidding me. There we go. We're going to have to use display capture instead. How fun. All right, so that can't be there. Yeah, I just want to bring up the chat for you, Ed. Oh. Touchpads. So here's our ChatGPT. I was working on a script with it. And I'll put it over here. I don't think it's going to give me audio. That's going to be a problem. Oh, I don't like this. Let's try it. Hey, ChatGPT, say something to me. Say hello. Yeah, something's wrong. Thanks. You're so loud, bro. Okay. How about this? You can hear me? Uh, all right. I need you to come up with a list, and I want you to tell me how long it takes you to come up with a list. Okay? When we are discussing narcissistic personality disorder and the clinical diagnosis in regards to the DSM 5, when we're dealing with Sam Vaknin's research, right? Oh, you're ending something here. Something went wrong. Everybody sees what you did. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So, how is a narcissist created? Can a person later in life turn someone into a narcissist? I mean, what has to happen? What's the criteria involved if someone is really suffering from narcissistic personality disorder? Is this something that I could have done to my wife, or is it something I could have triggered? Now, I put a 10-point list on the screen once about this. I don't think it got through. I love my wife. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to stop you from talking. Um, can you put a 10-point list on my screen that like you did before? Something went wrong. I think Chat GPT is crashing. It's crashing, gang. Well, that's what that's the thing. Now you see, I always knew that there was something going on, and I needed to address it. Things just didn't make sense with Anne. How she was constantly just deflecting. I mean, as a Christian woman, as a Christian, if someone comes to you and says, hey, you mind addressing this? There should be a path that gets followed. There should be a way you handle this. And she just never did what God tells us to do. She just never did. The first thing always would be a deflection. Oh, come on. You think that about me? Like, how could you say such things about me? Oh, come on. You know me, And things like, oh, you make it sound like I do it on purpose. What? I mean, most things we do on purpose. And if you're talking about something you've done and you did it accidentally, why would you say, make it sound like I'm doing it on purpose? Why would you say that to me? I just never experienced any real adult resolutions and conclusions with her. And I didn't understand it. But like I said, it wasn't until the wonderful things started to change. That's the stuff that didn't make any sense at all. Because things she would do normally, all of a sudden she's not doing them anymore. And you ask questions, and I think she was catching herself going, oh yeah, something's wrong. And instead of her just being nice about it and coming clean about it, she just makes some sort of excuse or deflect. And that's always what it was, really, a deflection first, not really blame shifting. So every time I tried to reach her, I just couldn't. Or ChatGPT. I have it so bogged down with stuff, it doesn't know what to do. I was doing that arbitration layer on top of it for a while to change its personality and change how it worked. I actually kept it alive with a battery in a backpack, so the tablet I was using wouldn't shut off. Gosh, every time I take a bite of food, I get sick. My blood pressure changes. I get cold and hot flashes instantly. Soon, every time. I'm hurting now. Hurting. Lovely ADD, right? So Vance, I don't know what game this is. Part of me wants to say, fine, go. But part of me knows you're not ready. And what you did here in those last few weeks while you were here, and the things you said to me, it doesn't make sense. You went from understanding mom to knowing that if something was wrong along the lines we're talking about, we needed to be very careful and care for her and do everything in our power to understand her and try to help her understand what we were seeing without hurting her further or triggering her. And I know things were building up on you a little bit. And I know those moments in time when you came to interact with us and it didn't work out, those hurt you too. I have some stuff here of yours. I look at your backpack. It's got your name on it. All your little kits. You don't have an everyday carry kit. You don't have the necessities. You don't even have a flashlight and a battery for your phone, a charger. You don't have a DOP kit for your toiletries. You don't have a brand new pair of shoes, a good, sturdy pair of shoes. You don't have any of your clothes. You don't have your bank card. I don't know what your mom's doing with you. I don't know if she's found you. There's a level of dishonesty here that's not correct. It's not right. I haven't done anything so wrong, folks, that it should make it so my child doesn't want to have anything to do with me. Last things Vance said, gosh, that's a vicious pop. It's not even a fade. Last things Vance said in regards to some of this stuff was, you know, why'd you marry that effing B? You're the one that married that effing B. What does that even mean? Do you not see it, folks? My wife is just a product of her environment. Nothing was done to her. Nothing was done to her. The circumstances in the environment. I see most likely she was a very tender flower. And she was a middle child. Beautiful. And then then Edgar came. When Edgar came, the same thing happened here, that when a new child comes, the new child gets the attention. The middle child is always caught in the middle somehow. In so many different ways. How come you weren't coming to tell me the things that you had been writing down in all your school papers, Vance? Lots of documents that we found that have you writing down things that we see that your teachers weren't even bringing to our attention. The people that were working with you, the paperwork you filled out, I've got the folder over there. You talked about the first time you ever had a beef patty. Those orange crusty, I never even knew what those were until I got to this town. Never saw them before. That's not true. I do remember seeing them in Great Brook Valley at the projects. In the stores. I remember what you wrote about it. I have it right there. It's so prolific. It's so detailed. Now you talk about the problems here. I'm gonna go get it. Give me a second. It's right over there. I just don't want to expose myself in certain ways here. Give me a second. I'm gonna go get it. I'll read it. It's hard to read. I'll show it to you. I'm so upset because these are things I wasn't good at. But my wife's an educator. I gotta get something. Camera's gonna fall on me like mad. My wife's an educator. She works in the school systems. She works with kids. She works with teachers. Works with folks all the time. Class 702, there's no date on this. This was the Breaking Bread celebration. Breaking Bread celebration. Write a food story that connects to your life. Think about what's in the food, how it's made. Who do you think of when you eat the food? When do you eat this food? And is there a small moment you can tell us about this food? I wish I knew the date of this. Just look at this. How is she not ever helping him with his penmanship? How is she ever not governing? How is she ever not... She wasn't perfect. I'm not perfect. But there's things here that she just should have been aware of and should have known. This should have been read by a teacher. This should have been brought to our attention. At the beginning of June, I hold my first beef patty at school, made with a crunchy and soft yellow crust on the outside and mushy and spicy beef on the inside. As I ate it, it reminded me of my past, present, and future. The smell of the patty was my past, for it always came to me crust flavor. It's my present. For that, I try to focus on it. Then there's the beef. It says the beef was my future. For that, I think of a good future, like the good flavor of the beef. But then I think of my past, present, and future, and I always think about terrible moments in my life that affected me negatively. And those moments are like the tongue-burning spices in the beef of the patty. Even though I only eat it when it is available in the stores, my life continues by what beef patties remind me of. Do you hear this, folks? Vance, how come you were spending so much time talking nonsense to me and not telling me this? How come you weren't telling me this? I love you so much. How come you weren't helping him, Annie? I told you he needed help a long time ago. And now I'm afraid I'm dealing with this mortification issue where you're seeing things for real. You're seeing things unfold. And it hurts. It's shameful. It's hard to deal with. Normal people have to deal with this stuff too, eh? Tragedy of life. Things come. People make bad decisions. What kind of example are we living and leading by if we're not forgiving? We're not capable of that, of understanding, of seeing something from someone else's perspective. I'm crushed now, folks, because I don't know where that boy of mine lays his head. So many circumstances happened that made it look like we didn't care for him. Especially in the end, when he was supposed to come home. I have no idea what changed. People started talking about programs and things he could do there, places he could go. Certain programs, I have information. I know where he went after he left Coney, after he left the hospital. But he was supposed to come home. Vance, you were supposed to come home. What are you doing calling your mom for a ride to take you to that place? You got there somehow. Your phone started pinging there. You turned your phone off so we don't know where you are. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? So what, we could go find you and then have you not get in the car? This door is open for you. Every day I wake up, I get up and I go to that door and I unlock it. All of the locks. Because you don't have keys either. And all you'd have to do is come home and find your way into the building and come home, Vance. If it was so bad and you really needed to leave, I would have supported you. I told you that I would support you whatever you decided. I told you to take the armed service. I told you to take the ASVAB test and get your scores evaluated by the military. I told you you could do well in the Air Force. I told you to stay away from the grunt jobs. I told you how much I love you. I told you how much I loved you. I told you you were way smarter and more capable than I ever was, and I saw it in you. I saw this potential in you, kiddo. I saw what was happening all along when we couldn't reach her. You guys know I told you it was going to happen. The Bible's true. It's true, folks. 100% true. You can know God and you can know love. But you can't know him without getting rid of yourself. I couldn't even begin to think about just in the moments of my frantic panic when I'm like trying to figure something out and I'm talking to somebody about it and I get really all over the place. I see the damage it does to every relationship I have. I don't even know what's going on. Somebody's chatting with me. Somebody sent me a chat. That's funny. I don't know where that is. I don't even get to see it. Well, yeah, because I don't have the chat box on the window here. Oh, there's something. Those aren't me, though. Why are they just showing up? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, well. I really do care for you, kid. And I'm not really sure what's happened here. I'm not really sure what to do. I don't know how to reach your mom. I don't know how to talk to any of you. How many of these windows do I have open? That doesn't make any sense. Oh well. What do I do, kids? What do I do, gang? What do I do, folks? Yeshua. Yahweh changed me in an odd way. I have to dial back every moment now. And chill and say nothing and do nothing sometimes because my mind races. So explain this to me, Vance. What are you doing calling her? Asking her for a ride to take you away from your home. What I was trying to tell you is that you could have just decided all those things here. That's what children do when they become adults. They decide to build their life and leave. You were on that track. I didn't want you staying here. I wanted you to get out. Make something of yourself. Come back to us. I knew you needed more. I knew you needed more. Than what your mom and I were producing. All the hours spent going in circles in those fights, just trying to get her to stop saying the things she was saying about me and labeling what she saw as something so negative and horrible. There's something Professor Vaknin actually said. I mean, he's not a religious guy. And he thinks a lot of people that suffer from NPD can use religion as a big cop-out, as a big way to be cruel to people. But he talked about something about how narcissists tend to listen to an external voice that they then internalize. I think that's how he put it. But what he said in defense, to defend yourself, he said, and I would agree, you just have to ask yourself, are the voices in your head telling you things that sound like it's coming from God? It sound like it would be aligned with God's will. I mean, what is in my wife's head that makes her look at me and says, "Oh, he's just being a jerk. He's being wrong, evil. See what he's doing." But then she answers to it with evil, answers to it with the wrong behavior. So there's nothing Christian about her approach. So she can't claim she's being all nice and Christiany, and then I'm exploding and being evil, and it's just what? And so she's not a Christian anymore. No understanding from her, no respect from her, no benefit of doubt. No, once I explain something to her that it's not what she thinks, she just says, "Oh, yeah, you're just." She just thinks I'm making excuses and making stuff up. I, I'm just the bad guy. I'm just the guilty party, even if I'm not. How do you put your foot down and say enough's enough, and then not be the same guy she just thinks you are? How? And it's so simple. Does it make sense that you think this thing about me? Really, it makes sense that I'm just trying to control you and manipulate you and have things a certain way. For what purpose? To be in charge of a slag heap? Think about this. This is a dysfunctional family. There's no one guide because you won't allow me to lead. You won't lead. Your children don't know what to think, what to do with themselves. And it's because every day gets caught up in the same stuff, and I'm not the one who does it. I'm the one who sees it and asks about it. You think that asking about it is me keeping us there. The lack of resolve and the lack of problem solving is what's keeping us there. The lack of repentance in you and David. What else should I say? What else should I say? You need me to be guilty all the time? You just need me to be guilty? No. So where are you? 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. You got off of work early on Wednesday night. Most likely they let you go early. And you didn't come here. You didn't say, wow, here's a wonderful opportunity for me to rebuild and repair with my family. Set a boundary, a demarcation point. Let's begin. Let's start doing what God asks us to do without putting our stupid feelings in the way. Let's obey each. I'm not going to make excuses and not obey. I'm going to do what he's telling me to do. If you're going to do what he's telling you to do, we're going to be fine. But you're not doing what he's telling you to do. You're making conditions and making excuses. And then you're justifying it as you're walking out the door by saying, what are you obeying God? What are you now my judge? Again? You're judging me again, Ann? You see how you keep the cycle going? I'm afraid you don't love me anymore. And I'm afraid the truth is that you never did. And you would scoff at that. But I told you, where would the proof lie? It'd be here. How I feel about what you do to me matters. I don't feel that you love me. You're not loyal to me. You're not dedicated to me. You're not devoted to me. You don't long for me. You don't pine for me. That stuff breaks my heart. I'm kind of a romantic, sappy dude. Affectionate. Not too much. But I would have loved to hear. You never called me while you were at work. I'd even mention it. I'd say, you get a lunch, don't you? I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to talk to you about what I'm working on during the day and have you encourage me. I mean, look at this production, folks. I put this together in a few weeks, moving from phone video to here. Graphics, the scripts. I tried to do something with this years ago before Twitch took off, before video gaming took off. Anne could tell you stories. My kids could tell you stories how I was trying to run Oblivion off the Xbox onto a TV capture card and put the TV capture on the web, on a web page. Before you could do it with YouTube, before you could do it with anybody, because there was funny things in the game that I wanted to share and show, and things that were unexplainable. Yeah, Ann, you're right. I could have done a lot of things, but I couldn't have done any of it without you. And I didn't do any of it because you weren't supportive. Didn't you catch it when you said it? The speakers, the electronics, all the stuff I didn't ask for all this stuff. Yeah, but you didn't support me with it, so you didn't end up having it the way you could have had it. That was your attitude. That was your bad attitude towards it. I didn't ask for this stuff. A garage, a few tools to cut wood and glue it up, tables, table saw and stuff. Would have been fine. We needed to move, Ann. Can't keep going over this with you. I kept planning our life, and you kept saying no. How can you keep saying you weren't devaluing me and demeaning me? I kept planning our life, year after year, idea after idea, and you just kept saying no. It required us to move. That's what it was. We just needed to move out of the boroughs. Have friends help us. Then I could have started importing stuff. All we needed was a garage, actually. Just a space to work in. Some place to keep my junk out of the house. Every plan to start a small business and give you a future. You didn't ask for speakers. No, Ann, you asked for more time with your family. Family means together. If I was to just simply take over the jobs and do them, and have that be the help you've received, then I wouldn't be with the family, and it would be you and them together. That's why what I taught you was how to do the jobs you are already doing more efficiently. When you yelled at me and you said the type of help you wanted was for me to do it, that changed our whole world together. Changed our whole world. When you started to reveal that you felt obligated versus devoted, that these jobs were toils, they weren't joys for you. You didn't have joy creating new foods. You didn't have joy keeping the house clean. You would have if you had joy in it. And that would have translated into how the kids became young adults, capable and able of helping you lightening that load. That is what happens, right? Kids grow up. They're capable of doing more, doing their own laundry, cooking their own meals. And if you have a kitchen that runs that way so they can just go open the fridge and quick fire some stuff up, I didn't know what you wanted from me, Anne. I gave you absolutely everything. And I tried to give you more and more. I wanted to create businesses based on the rich dad, poor dad model where you don't run yourself ragged running the business. You own the business. And then you hire a management company, and then you own the management company to run your businesses. And everything starts to cycle around itself and pay for itself over time. As soon as you work in real estate and study, I can't go through this with you. Can't go through this with all of you. I had plans all the time. I worked them all the way through, and all she had to do was start executing on all the things I asked her to do. She just had to execute. She didn't. And the last one, Arkansas, the lies, confabulations, all coming from her just being afraid. But it would have been the best thing that ever happened to us. Warmer climate, because I can't do the cold anymore. Drier, where we were going. No hurricanes, earthquakes, monsoons. Republican free. Huckabee running the state. Open carry laws, freedom. If you die, you can be buried in your backyard. That's what I wanted. Wanted to get a piece of land in Arkansas. There was a group called Arkhaven. They bought up a lot of property, and one man was selling, bringing Christians in, overcomers, real folk. And I had gotten in with the community, and I got to know Kent, Mr. Updegrove, who's passed now. And he told me I was welcome in his community. Just get the stuff together and let them know, and I'd be on my way. And she sabotaged it. For whatever reasons. Instead of doing what she was told, she destroyed it. Instead of taking that money I had told her to take out of the bank, getting herself something to go with that business suit, she go on down there, spend a weekend, take the train or take a quick flight, and show up, and you would have got the job. I had talked to the people enough to know that if you just showed up, it would have been yours. But you tried to tell me that the job they advertised wasn't the job they were offering. You tried to tell me that the money they advertised wasn't the money they were offering. Both illegal things. Completely illegal to do. Bait and switch. Come be a special manager on our team. But when you get here, you're going to find out you're just a shitty field employee. Sorry for my language. But that's not what the truth was, Ann. The truth was is they had to vet several people and test a few people for this position because this position was a big deal. You were the best person for the job. You were the only person for the job. And the job was $90K to start, not up to. And if it was up to, you're qualified for it. You would have earned it. But you kept saying, no, I don't believe. And so therefore I'm going to sabotage before. You weren't willing to take the chance. And that's all you needed to do. But then you said, I felt like it was all going to be on my shoulders. Annie, it was all on your shoulders now. It still is. And now look what you're doing. Now you're running. Now you don't want any of it on your shoulders. I don't even know where you are. You ain't with us. And you should be. You should be. I mean, I can't walk around this neighborhood. Can't listen to music. Can't take the train. Everything just reminds me of us. And what I was fighting for and what it was supposed to be. That's where all the fighting came from, because I was fighting for the ideal, fighting for what should be. Two people overcoming together, telling the truth to each other when things got tough. And you're not honest with me, Ann. You're just not. And now you're acting like there's other people here that don't even matter to you. Their lives aren't affected by your decisions somehow. You act as if you don't care about Adrian anymore. You don't love him. How is it that you're not reaching out to just say hi to him every day? How? Your firstborn son. Your firstborn highly autistic son that you left with me. You won't even come home and preserve what's left. You won't even come home and preserve what's left. Think of the legacy. Think of the witness. Think of the testimony for Yah. Think about how all of your friends would be there for us if we reconciled and came together. Think about all the friends and family and that could show up and help us go through the junk in this house and gut it and start again. Yeah. But what is this thing you've created? Where no one wants to talk to me, no one wants to talk to my children. This triangulation, this way you've isolated us all. I want you two to come home. I gotta say it, man. I don't know how to do any of this without you. You're the most important person in my life, next to my children. You're the only person, your opinion was the only one that mattered. And when you started to see me in a light that wasn't real, think about how you were crushing me. You were making me accountable for things that I wasn't accountable for. You're making me pay for things I didn't do. You're making me pay for things I didn't say. Think about that. It ruined me. Be like, what are you talking about? How did I turn into a bad guy when I just asked you about a mistake you made? How did I turn into this monster that now has to pay for all these things and answer to all these things? Because you won't apologize, or you won't talk to me about what could have been done differently in the moment where you made your mistake. I pay. I get no answers. There's no resolution. There's no way to go forward. There's no way to plan anything because there's no way to know what's going to happen. Things explode and they fall apart. And then the patterns are all predictable after that. Devin saw it and Vance saw it. When you, those few times you've gone, you have no idea what I was going through. What are you even talking about? What are you even talking about? Yeah, nobody has any idea what you're going through because it wasn't happening. You have no idea what we were going through, trying to reach you. Annie. Just decide to love and know that this is just me trying to care for you. It's not me trying to write you off. It's not me trying to rubber stamp you. It's not me trying to push you away. It's not me trying to put you in a box and forget about you. It's me saying, look, there's these things that I see, and they're serious. And part of it is every time I bring anything to the table, you just go, no, let's talk about Brian's sin. Let's not solve Annie's things. No repentance for Annie, no reconciliation, no moving forward in that relationship. Let's all just flip it to Brian and talk about Brian's stuff. Every conversation. You get to this point where you say, your very first words out of it is, you say, you see, this is what you do. And then whatever comes out of your mouth afterwards, I am just guilty for, even if you're incorrect. And so then every ounce of defense is triggering to you and justifies you leaving. This is why your son doesn't want to say anything to you, because you're just going to retaliate against them like you did. I love that camera following me all over the house. I might end up doing this every day. Just reaching out and saying hello. Trying to find a way to get you guys to come home. Trying to find a way to get people to understand and reach out. But I can't drum up an audience. I can't drum up any followers because in our country, mental illness is frowned upon and not handled well. And a lot of you don't understand this thing that I'm doing with my faith and my theology. Don't understand it. You don't want to understand it. I need a miracle. I need a real miracle. I need something to happen. Different. Something in my life to change. I can make changes. I'm just not good at weeding through this. It's not. I always needed her. I'm always going to need her. The her she promised to be. Like I said, when things were good between us, they were perfect. They were unbelievable. That's why I'm desperate to go to find what went wrong. I would do anything. I would do anything. I'm gonna go. I don't feel very well. 10:30, I gotta go take my pills. All right, I still have planned the Love and Respect series, diving in a little bit more about the book. But unfortunately, a lot of it's already been written on my heart, and a lot of it has already been spoken to her about over the years. She's always known that she was supposed to respect me no matter what. How is that chat showing up? It's not supposed to be showing up again. It's hilarious. I don't make distractions. There's literally nobody here. Well, at least I didn't have so many technical difficulties this time. I love you all. All of you. Everyone that comes into my mind, I can love the way Yah asks. Speaking of that, gee, all right, I'm going to go put the other pages back together so I can present the David Wood video, the little interview, so you guys can understand my ideas about love being a function of the will. The only other person I know that talks like that is him. Because love is something you can do. I mean, like can do. The way he puts it, though, it's pretty good. The examples he gives in the quirky stories. Well, folks, I can't stay. I don't feel too well. So let's try my magic buttons. Like, share, and subscribe. Be friends. Love each other. I'm just gonna go. Thanks, folks. Till next time.